Happy New Year, everyone. This is Lunch Money Comics. My name is Mike, and I hope you all had a fantastic holiday, hopefully surrounded by family, friends, and other loved ones. That's exactly how I spent my holiday. I got to see a ton of amazing people that I love, and now I am exhausted. Don't get me wrong, I enjoyed every second of it, and that's what the holiday really is all about. I also hope everyone had a great 2023. For me, I had a fantastic year. Not only was it the first full year of Lunch Money Comics, and I enjoyed every second of it, from a comic collecting standpoint, I would say I definitely exceeded my rather modest 2023 collecting goals. And last year when I did sort of a year-end recap video, I showed off my top 10 comic book finds from strange and unusual places. Basically, my 10 best things I found at flea markets, yard sales, and all the other weird places that I like to find comic books. Well, I originally intended to do that for this video. However, when I started looking over all the comic books I got over this past year, I couldn't curate the list down to something reasonable because I got a lot of ridiculously awesome comic books. And I also have a rule on this channel, like an unspoken YouTuber rule, which is never rehash old stuff. Always try to show people something new. So if you watch my channel a lot, you would have seen me get a lot of these comic books in the videos. And if you haven't seen those videos, guys, and you don't watch me very often, you need to look no further than watch a video from earlier this year. Look at the wall in that video, and then look at the wall in this video. I had a fantastic year, and just showing off these big books again would just be nothing more than sort of a flex and very self-important, not something I'm really into. So instead, we're going to do none of that. What I want to do is show you a whole bunch of new stuff I got over the last month or so. Not only stuff that I got myself, but more importantly, a ton of stuff I got for Christmas. Stuff I got from friends and family because they all know exactly what I like, and I cannot wait to show you some of these amazing gifts that I received. And then I want to quickly talk about what you can look forward to from Lunch Money Comics in 2024. Before I get into all this, guys, if you like this sort of stuff and you want to support the channel, head on down, like, comment, subscribe. It helps the channel, but more importantly, guys, I love interacting with every single one of you. And of course, follow me on Instagram under Lunch Money Comics IG. So first up, let's start with this t-shirt I'm wearing right now. I actually have a lot of t-shirts to show you guys. People like getting me shirts. This one was courtesy of my cousin who conspired with my uncle to have this LMC shirt made. Now, I don't have any like YouTuber merch. I'm not really into that stuff, guys. I've looked into it before. But if I was to do it, it wouldn't be something I'd want to sell. It'd be things for like giveaways, stuff like that. I did have some friends suggest to me that maybe I could get some LMC shirts or hats or whatever the swag is to do some sort of charity fundraiser. I much more prefer that idea. But it is nice to have as a gift for like a comic book show or something like that, an LMC shirt. So this is the first one I'm going to show you guys. Pretty nice right there. It's difficult for shirt companies to get the gradient like this. So they did a pretty good job. But I got a couple other shirts as well. My good friend Jeff from Comic Spa knows a guy who makes shirts, and he was basically getting some samples for me. Here's the first one in a square logo. And we have this other black shirt here with a big circle logo. They're made slightly differently. And like I said, you know, if we ever did decide to do something like this, it would be for like a charity or something like that. So pretty cool to have. Thank you guys so much, the ones who got these for me. I will cherish them always, and they're pretty fun. Next up, I have some t-shirts from my sister. So I have two younger sisters. They're always getting me great things. Most of the shirts that I wear on my channel for either when I'm at a place hunting or in this part of the video, I get from them. So let's start with these ones here. These ones came from my sister, Kim. First up, we have this. It's a Thor t-shirt. Not bad. Then we have a Phoenix logo. Love that as an XMen fan. Then we have Xavier's school for gifted youngsters, Xavier Institute, pretty awesome. And last, and probably my favorite character is Nightcrawler. How cool is that? Nightcrawler's tail on a shirt. Love this shirt. So that's pretty fantastic. My other sister, Tracy, who's always getting me good stuff. Should I put this on? Yeah, I gotta put this on. First up, we have this. This is a winter hat that looks like Magneto's helmet. She got it on Etsy, I think, from a woman who crocheted it. Let's see what it looks like. I look ridiculous, I know that, but how crazy is this? Yeah, if I can find who she got this from, I'll link it down in the description if any of you want to look as ridiculous as I do right now. She also got me some pretty cool Wolverine socks. Pretty neat. She got me a keychain, Captain America, not bad. And finally, she got me a comic book. Now, my sister Tracy lives in the Pacific Northwest. She lives in Portland, Oregon. And she was up in Washington State just doing some sightseeing when she stumbled upon the rather isolated town of Aberdeen, Washington. I believe it's the hometown of Kurt Cobain. And she found a comic book store there. And she was sending me pictures. She does this often, like asking me if any of them are worth money, whatever. And I said, oh, that book's pretty good. I should have known at the time she was going to snag it for me for Christmas. And it's this. So this is The Phantom Stranger number 14 from 1971. Awesome Neil Adams cover, written by Len Wein, art by Jim Aparo. And you guys see here, there's a swamp creature. It's called the Swampster right there on the cover. Now, a lot of people sort of erroneously talk about this comic book saying that this is a precursor to Swamp Thing and Man Thing, implying that it came out before those two characters. That's not true. It actually came out after both those characters, though in the same year, and Len Wein, of course, created Swamp Thing. No, this just happens to be another swamp creature. It was a big year, I guess, 1971 for swamp creatures. So pretty cool here. Happy to get this. I like the swamp monsters, and I love Neil Adams, so pretty cool pickup. Thank you so much. Next up, we have a gift card from my good friends over at Three Men in a Basement. They are some multimedia comic book YouTubers, Instagrammers. They put on a lot of great events here in New England. And when they make friends with people, they send out the Christmas card. So first and foremost, I got a letter right here, just saying really nice things and saying it's great to know you and explaining where this whole gift came from. You see right here, this letterhead was acquired by Otto, who's one of the Three Men in a Basement, from Marvel headquarters when he was a kid, and he uses basically this letterhead paper stock, basically copies it and puts all their stuff on it. So that was pretty cool. And he also gave me this, which is a Christmas card. This is a copy, but whenever they go to any comic book shows, they have all these famous artists and writers and everybody who works at comics sign it. And the amount of names in this card is absolutely incredible. So that was nice to kind of get on the Christmas mailing list of Three Men in a Basement. Happy to get that. Next up, we have some gifts from my friend Ben Tawes, who is a local, meaning here in Western Massachusetts, comic book creator. Ben is a fantastic artist, and he writes his own comic books, and has also recently, since knowing me, gotten into one of my favorite artists, Dave Stevens. I've given him some books over the last couple of months or so, and he was hunting for comic books in one of my favorite haunts when he found 3 copies of this book right here. This is Rocketeer number 2 by Comico, and this is another Dave Stevens cover. He got 3 of them at this place he was hunting at and gave one of them to me. How fantastic is that? I got to give everyone a quick reminder, for those of you that haven't seen this on my channel in the past, Ben wrote and published his own graphic novel called Freedom Edge, a pretty big book, and he recently printed off some new copies. And I know this is the new copy because the guy's got a red cape and it's got a red, spine, but this is a very special one that Ben gave me because since he met me, he's been inspired to do more work. And in this copy, at the very end of the book, he's put some thank yous. And on that list, we have His and Her Comics up in Greenfield, near where he lives. You see my logo right there, and Jeff from Comics Boss. So very cool. He also signed this one for me as well. So thank you so much, Ben, for this. I will cherish it forever. That's really special to actually have my logo and a little thing about me in this comic book. To be clear, I contributed nothing to this book other than I said I like the red cape. Next up is another one by Ben. It's this. This is a little comic book he made called Elevator Action. It's based off a video game from way back in the day. And Ben actually had me sort of edit this. He gave me all of his panels and wanted me to add some text. But I actually contributed nothing to it other than to tell him it was perfect as it was. I like the fact that it was silent and all the action in this happens without any dialogue. And he wrote me a fantastic letter once again on the back. So very cool once again to have a comic book that I have a very, very small part to play in. And finally, Ben got me something really fantastic. So I don't want to get into all of Ben's details here. Definitely check out his Instagram page, which I will link to down in the description. But Ben wasn't drawing for several years, and he wanted to finally get back into it. And once he stumbled across my channel and got to meet me, again, he's a local guy, he was inspired to do a lot more drawing and learn a lot more about comic books. And as one of the first things he drew in years, he drew me this. It's me. It's a cartoon of me, Lunch Money Comics, with my wall behind me and stuff. How cool is that? I think on Ben's Instagram page, he actually did a time lapse of him doing this as well. So how cool is that, guys? I've gotten a lot of great original art this year, and this is definitely one of my favorites. So Ben, thank you so much for all of these. So there is one more thing that Ben actually did for me, and that is I commissioned him to do a special Christmas gift for my friend Brandon at MON Comics. Now, if you watch me, you probably know who MON Comics is. If you don't, absolutely stop watching my channel right now and go over there and check him out. Recently, he did a Christmas unboxing of a box of stuff I sent him, not only for Christmas, but also for his 1-year anniversary coming up in January. And I had Ben commission a special piece. I'm not going to show that on my channel right now. Instead, I am going to highly recommend you check out that video. I thought it came out fantastic, and I was really happy that Brandon liked it. Fantastic piece. Once again, Ben, it's been fantastic meeting you and knowing you. I'm happy to call you my friend, and thank you so much for all of this and also that great piece you did for Brandon. Another online friend I've made this year is Ryan the Colossus Collector, a fellow X-Men fan, and by the name of his channel, you can guess his favorite character is Colossus. He's a fantastic guy. He's from Canada, loves hockey like me. And I had the huge privilege of being on his holiday special on YouTube. It was a big live event. He invited a ton of people. We had a fantastic time. We talked for like 3 hours, and a part of that whole show was he had everybody who was on the show open a gift from him. He sent it to them beforehand. We couldn't open them until that time. We all thought it would be something small, and surprise, they weren't small gifts. They were incredible gifts. They were gifts that, he put a lot of thought and time into and probably spent a lot of money. So these books, although you can certainly watch that video, and you should if you haven't seen it, I can't wait to show these to you guys. So first and foremost, he sent me a fantastic letter. Again, personalized, just about our friendship. Pretty cool. Also, this really neat sticker with his logo. Pretty cool. Next up, Ryan is from Canada. Like I said, at some point in time, I mentioned I love Alpha Flight and that I always wanted a Canadian price variant of Alpha Flight #1. Well, Ryan listened. Here we have the Canadian price variant of the Canadian superhero team. How awesome is that? I love them because they're an X-Men affiliated title, art and story by John Byrne, and the fact that this is from Canada, I just think is fantastic. So awesome right there. Next up, I've also mentioned on my channel that I like foreign comics, and he found me this. This is a German comic. It's actually 2 different comics here. We have X-Men #2 and Hulk #4. Pretty neat. You guys can't see, but on the top shelf of my wall back there are all my foreign comic books. Very cool. Happy to add that to the top row. And this last one blew me away. This is, bear with me here, this is Secret Wars #18. This is from 1985, and this is a UK publication. And what this is multiple stories. The first story in this is actually a reprint of Secret Wars #9. There is also Alpha Flight #9, and there's also a part of the Iceman Limited series #3. But you guys can see the biggest reason he got this for me, it is a Nightcrawler cover. How neat is this? UK only variant, fantastic, big magazine format. Awesome, guys. You don't see these every day. So pretty awesome right there, guys. Thank you so much, Ryan. That was a fantastic show you did. But what a great and thoughtful gift you sent. Blows me away. If you guys haven't checked out Ryan the Colossus Collector, head on over there right now. I'm going to go back to Brandon from MON Comics right now because he also sent me a Christmas gift. He had already sent it when I sent him my Christmas gift, so it wasn't like an afterthought kind of thing. He had planned this. He wrote me a lovely letter. Once again, and I didn't know what to expect, guys. He said it was sort of just a goofy little gift, so I thought it was like something small. I didn't open it until Christmas. I thought it was like a book or something. Well, it kind of is. It's this. This is Swamp Thing #1 from this past year. This is October 2023. This is a Lee Bermejo cover, and this is a reprint of Swamp Thing #1. And you guys see it's an homage cover of... Actually, I'm going to grab it. Hold on. You guys can see it's an homage cover of another fantastic book that I got this year. And yeah, Brandon got this for me for 2 reasons. One, he knows I love this version of the Swamp Thing. But also, I recently, earlier this year, got a 9.8 slab comic book. But it wasn't for me. I gave it to my son. So I've never actually owned a 9.8. Brandon heard me say that, and he actually got this for me. So Brandon, what more can I say? It's been a pleasure becoming friends with you over this past year. I love talking with you. I love what your channel's become, and I look forward to what MON Comics is going to bring in 2024. How cool is that? So this next group of comic books I got from me. I bought these for myself over the last couple of weeks or so. I think they're all pretty great, and I want to share them with you. But in particular, the last 4 are very suitable to talk about in this video because they finished off a huge 2023 collecting goal of mine. You'll see what I'm talking about. But first, let's start with two comic books that I got on eBay, and I got them together despite the fact they don't have much in common with each other. First up, we have this. This is X-Men number 60 from 1969, and I love this for three reasons. One, I'm an X-Men collector. Two, it's the first appearance of this character, Sauron, who is a guy that can turn into a pterodactyl and hypnotize people, lives in the Savage Land, because comics. And three, the art was done by Neil Adams, one of my personal favorites. So I've wanted this book for a while. You see here, there is a tape pull on the spine. I got this for a great price, and this is pretty much why. But the book I got with it is this. So this is Fantastic Four number 66 from 1967, written by Stan Lee, art by Jack Kirby. And this is the origin of the character of him, later known as Adam Warlock. In this issue here, you find out about how he's created. You see the cocoon that he's in. And then the next issue, that cocoon hatches and you see him for the first time. He will later be known as Adam Warlock. So sort of a first appearance of Adam Warlock. So yeah, I got both of these on eBay, I think for under $60 for both of them. And mostly because the condition of them isn't great. I threw a low bid at it. So for about 30 bucks each, I think a fantastic deal for these two different Silver Age first appearances. So these next two comic books I got from my favorite local comic book store, His and Her Comics in Greenfield, Massachusetts. I talk about the store all the time on my channel. I'm always there. But I only have two books to show you because they have a huge year-end sale coming up. As a matter of fact, actually, by the time this video comes out, it will have already happened. So definitely stay tuned for that video when it comes out. I hope to come home with a huge stack of comic books like I did last year. But I was up there one of these times and there were some new books that came in from the Silver and Bronze Age. I was going through there and found two books that I thought were worth sharing with you guys. First up is this. This is Astonishing Tales featuring It, the Living Colossus. It's from 1974. And I got it quite simply because it's a cool cover. It features the living Colossus right here fighting the martial arts dragon, Fin Fang Foom. It was $3. Couldn't live without it. Had to pick it up. The next one is sort of an interesting one. This one had a price tag that was not cheap. I think it was listed at like $25. And I was confused why. And maybe you'll be confused as well. It's this. This is The Munsters from August of 1966. The Munsters, of course, being a television show from the 60s, very similar to the Addams Family, of a family of monster-themed characters. And just like a lot of the shows that were going on in the 60s and 70s, they made corresponding comic books to go with them. Now, why did this one have any price tag other than really a couple of dollars? Well, let me tell you this. Not only was it priced a little bit more, but I wasn't the only one who wanted it. My friend Larry, who I'll talk more about in a second, was there as well. He was interested in it, and he was about to grab it, and I just snatched it right out of his hands. It didn't really happen like that. It was more amicable than that, but I thought it was a funny little piece of footage. And why did we both want it? Because you see here, this normal looking comic book, well, not so normal. This is a double cover. This happens sometimes during the printing of comic books where two covers accidentally get put onto the comic book. Not super uncommon. You know, lots of people find these and have them in their collection, but I did not have one in my collection. And Nishan, the owner there, sold this to me for $20. Happy to pick this up for that, guys. I thought it was just a fun comic book curiosity and oddity to add to my collection. Happy to finally add a double cover to the collection. Finally, we come to the last four books. All year, guys, I've been talking about one of my biggest goals was to finish the Chris Claremont X-Men run. He worked on the X-Men for 16 plus years from X-Men number 94 all the way up into the high 200s. And I've been chipping away at it all year. And I was down to 4 comic books. And up until a few days ago, guys, I did not think I was going to finish this goal before the end of the year. And then I got a call from my buddy Larry, who I just stole this book from. And he had recently bought a collection with his friend Kit from Amazing Comics. A lot of great comic books in there, but mostly this collection was X-Men books, all from the Bronze Age that I love, including some big ones like Giant Size X-Men number 1 and X-Men 94. But they knew I was looking for some books. They asked me which ones I needed. I sent them the numbers, and I got a picture back showing the 4 that I needed. A quick trip to my friend Larry's house. And here it is, guys. I have officially finished the Chris Claremont X-Men run. And at some point in the future, I will do a video on the whole run, I am sure. But let's just right now talk about these 4 books. First, we have X-Men number 103, great cover depicting Storm, Banshee Nightcrawler fighting Juggernaut and Black Tom Cassidy at Cassidy Keep. And this is the first time you find out Wolverine's name is Logan, and it's actually uttered by a leprechaun. Because comic books. So first, Logan in comics right here. Next up, we have X-Men number 107. This is the first appearance of the Starjammers, including Corsair, who is the father of Cyclops and Havoc. Also Ch'od, Hepzibah, Astra, Raza. Also the first appearance of the Shi'ar Imperial Guard. And the first appearance of the M'Kraan Crystal, which is a huge part of X-Men lore and a big part of the Dark Phoenix saga story. So this is a pretty big book with a lot of key significances in it, and it can go for a little bit of money. Next up, we have one of my favorite X-Men covers ever. This is X-Men number 112. When I was a kid, it was not lost on me that two of the most powerful members of the X-Men, Wolverine and Colossus, were completely useless against Magneto. And you see right here in this awesome George Perez cover, that's exactly what's going on. Magneto just saying, nope. Awesome cover. I've always loved that book. And last but certainly not least, you heard me mention Sauron. Well, here he is again in Uncanny X-Men number 115. This is Sauron right here, and he's mind-controlling Wolverine to fight his friends. So, fantastic cover. So there you go, guys. One big 2023 goal complete. Chris Claremont done. Pretty happy about this. These are all near mint condition books. Almost all the ones they had in that collection were really high grade. And I got all of these for $200, which I think is about what they're worth based on how high grade they are. In fact, I didn't even need them to be this high grade, but I was still happy to pick them up nonetheless. So that was all the stuff that I got over Christmas vacation. And as you guys can see, Santa was great to me. I got a lot of great comic books to add to my collection and a whole bunch of other stuff, like some awesome t-shirts you may very well see me wearing on the channel. And hey, on a cold, blustery day here in New England, I can dress up like Magneto. So there is that. Now I want to quickly talk about what you can expect from Lunch Money Comics in 2024. This is the time of year where we set goals and expectations and resolutions for the new year. I set rather modest ones for myself at the beginning of 2023. I think that's important to do, is to not set unrealistic goals. And I met or exceeded all of those goals to the point where every time I kept finding like comic books I always wanted or never dreamed I could have, it felt like a blessing every single time. It always felt like I was like playing with house money. And I think it's good because I didn't feel like under pressure to meet something unrealistic. I also think it's important to have very focused goals though. If you guys are anything like me, it's very easy to get sidetracked and just start collecting everything that you like. The Chris Claremont run was really good for me because it kind of kept me focused and on track. I could look for one specific title, and you know, instead of just like sprawling and grabbing everything, I had one place to look. It was nice. It just helps kind of ground you. That all being said, what am I going to do in 2024? Well, here's the tough part, guys. I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing. Don't let anyone be worried here. I'm going to keep hunting for comic books in strange and unusual places. I love doing that. More flea markets, more yard sales, stuff like that. However, this past year, I got a lot of comic books to the point where I ended up getting a lot of quantity over quality. And I think I want to cut back on that. It's real easy to go to these flea markets, find these cheap comic books, and come home with stacks of books, but I don't often sell comic books. So in 2024, I'm probably going to move away from a lot of this clutter and go towards some of the bigger books to fill out my collection. And this is going to be hard to do. I've always said I don't want to sell things through my channel, and that's absolutely going to stay the case. But I might start selling more through eBay. I might start selling more at comic book shows, try to have the hobby fund itself a little bit more. And lastly, there are a couple of big books I still want in my collection. Really big ones. So big that I don't even feel comfortable really even pulling the trigger on them. X-Men number 1, X-Men number 4, Daredevil number 1. These are big titles I've wanted ever since I was a kid. Guys, this is Lunch Money Comics. I started this channel because I grew up poor. I bought comic books cheap with my lunch money, and I largely try to collect the same. I do not feel comfortable getting big, expensive books. That is still true. Every time I buy one of these expensive books, I have to hear from it down in the peanut gallery. I should be called Banquet Money Comics or something like that. Guys, it's not lost on me. I like buying cheap comic books. I like reading them. I like enjoying them. But you get to a point in your collection where some of the bigger books are all that's left, and after the year I had, that's kind of where I'm at. So I have some rather lofty goals for 2024, whereas I was rather modest in 23. yeah, it's a different 2024. But in terms of content, I think you guys can pretty much expect to see the same thing. I'd like to do more things like live videos, some maybe more interesting videos where I'm not always just sitting down here. We'll see, but you guys can hopefully look forward to some pretty good comic book content from me in the new year. I'm having a great time. I haven't got tired of this yet, so as long as I'm having fun, I'm going to keep doing it, and hopefully you guys keep watching. So that's it, guys. Head on down to the comments and let me know which of all those pickups you like the best, and keep hunting for comic books in strange and unusual places. If 2023 was any indication in all these books I have on the shelf behind me, guys, those comic books are out there in the wild just waiting for you to find them. You just need to have the grit and determination and the persistence to keep looking for them. And trust me, amazing things can happen. I hope you all have a fantastic 2024. Thank you guys so much for watching this video and all the ones before it. And I will absolutely see you guys on the next one. Have a great new year.